Hi, and thanks for watching. This is Kazam of Kazam 3D, and I'm here to show you a, uh, a new product. Well, it's an improvement on an old product, but this one is going to be new to Renderosity. It's called the Sorority Sleepover Set. Let me go ahead and put a top on her so I can back out. There we go. Okay, because we don't want to offend YouTube too much. Didn't have, oh boy. Okay, cool. So there we go. So now we can hide and show stuff and move it around without offending YouTubers. Or obviously people in the customer base over at, there we go, over at Renderosity. Okay, now let's go back to what we started doing here. This is the Sleepover Bundle. Okay, you will remember I recently released the Vintage Spirit cheerleader outfit, and this is just kind of a continuation of that. This is called, as I said, the Sorority Sleepover Set, and here are your assets. We have our sleepover pants and top with fuzz. With fuzz, I mean, you see these little hairs, strand-based hair, and it's meant to emulate, particularly for this texture, the tiny little hairs on a natural fiber texture like wool yarn. Okay, so that's what that's there for. You can use it for any of the texture settings, but it was created specifically with this texture in mind. And so that's there if you want it. When you load it, your fuzz is going to be down here. It will not be parented, but it will still follow the garment. Okay, so no need to worry about that. It just works better if I have a wearable. It just works out better. It's better than saving it as a prop, in my opinion. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and delete those now that we've covered that. We also have we have our foot pose for our slides. These are just simple slippers. And let's go ahead and frame select on those. I need to I'm going to have this in NVIDIA iRay because the textures and colors for this product are all iRay. If we were to go to texture shaded, you really wouldn't see much. Let's go up to the pants. You can see that, you know, it's like that. There's a reason for that. Okay, it wasn't because I was trying to be difficult. It's because of something you'll see with these textures and like in a few minutes. I'm going to try not to blather on. I promised my business partner, Joe, that I would not blather on too much. He really doesn't care one way or another, honestly. I was actually trying to promise him to keep myself from blathering, and you can see I'm not succeeding very well. At any rate, so those are the slides. There's one more asset. Okay, this is a set. This is a sorority teddy bear. Okay, I just called it sorority bear. You can call it Stanley or whatever you want. I don't care. And junk mail. You order a pizza, you get junk mail for life, right? At any rate, so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and load this guy. Just because it doesn't matter if you have anything selected. He's an independent. In fact, let's unselect. Do this. Okay, and he's just a teddy bear, and he looks skinny, but I have morphs for that, and I'm going to go ahead and get the bear out of the way just so we can move on with things. Okay, so you got sorority bear selected. Okay, there are morphs. Okay, you can make him chubbier, just dial that up. You can also just give him a fatter belly. And for this, I think I can go ahead and just go to texture shaded to speed things up. Come on, do your thing. Okay, you see that? Now he's got a beer belly. Now he's, you know, you just make him look like whatever you want. He is also rigged. Okay, it's a fairly rudimentary rigging. I didn't go to a ton of trouble simply because he's going to be covered with this fur. So smoothing the joints and things like that were not really a useful way to spend time. Simply because, so he's waving. So you can make him, you can treat him like, say, a Genesis 3 male, more or less. Okay, so there you go. There's the teddy bear. I am going to go ahead and delete this, get it out of the way, and then we'll get back to the clothing items. So we have 4 items, okay, and I'm not counting these wearables as separate items. It's simply that these are versions with that, that little bit of fuzz, natural fiber fuzz added. Other than that, it's not a big deal. So we'll just say it's 4 items, and now we'll get into the cool stuff. We have our D-Force presets. As you all probably know, all Cosam 3D clothing has D-Force baked in, whether it's form-fitting or not, simply because it's just a good way to do things. Doesn't mean I don't have morphs. We can, let's just go to the pants. Okay, and here we are with our morphs. We have quite a few of them, and they're very explanatory. Okay, so you can figure out what they do. This one I always make green. It's called poke through fix. I used to call it thickness because it's just meant for fixing poke through. Okay, back to D-Force though. D-Force and morphs go hand in hand, and so I've shown you the real quickly that there is a healthy list of morphs on the undershirt. We also have morphs, but they're not quite as many because they're simply not necessary. Okay. Anyway, let's get back to iRay preview. And these are our D-Force presets. I think they're pretty explanatory as well. And I make big icons so that you can just hover and it will show you what you need to know about the preset with or the product, anything. Okay. As you can also tell from that from the main, I've got some icons yet to make. Okay. So you're seeing this product as it's being pretty much in a final phase, the home stretch of finalization. Basically everything's done. It's all things like README file, this YouTube video, icons, little things like that, but the product's done. Okay. Now this is a translucency and glossiness set of colors. Let's go to iRay colors. Well, actually, I'm going to cover textures first because these are the geometry. Okay, so you can see there's your crochet. This is what it loads by default, pink crochet. There's also a fine net, and these are Nelny, I think. I just love this guy's textures. This, I just love the way that he, she, they have done this, and I use them a lot because they're very, very, very versatile. And so I end up creating a lot of textures based on that merchant resource. Okay, give them some love. Go over and check them out. They're really, really cool. I've never, ever, ever been disappointed with anything I bought from them that I've in turn, turned around and used to create texture sets for any of my products. Excuse me. But as you can see, yeah, I get a lot of. I'm going to turn this off. By the way, that'll probably get edited out right there. I don't need that stuff popping up in the middle of trying to make a video. At any rate, okay, so let's go to textures. We've got our undershirt selected. Here's fine knit. You can see that the color does not change. Weave, the color does not change. Okay. Same thing happens with the panties. Okay. Now let's get into colors since we've covered textures. Okay. Let's go to lilac. The color changed, but the texture did not change. Where's our powder blue? Powder blue. I've still got some icons to make here as well, by the way. And there we go. You can see that the color changed, but the texture did not. Brings us down to this stuff. This is the cool stuff right here. This is what actually makes it, I think, a kind of a cool project. Okay, let's turn letters on for the undershirt. Something clever. State Slumber Squad. And it can say anything you want, and here's the reason why. You see this dude right here? We fired that up, and I've already had this open. I'm going to go ahead and just close these files. I'll say no. No. These are PSD files, Photoshop documents. Okay. Actually, there's only two, this one and that one, but I have them backed up. Please note the PSD file that is in the runtime hierarchy is a backup. The one that actually gets edited and used in real time is directly in your iRay Colors folder. See that? So that way you can always get back to broke if you need to. And you know, you're somebody, I'm sure, that is sharp enough to figure out all the implications of that. But what this is going to do is when you turn letters on for either the pants or the shirt, it's going to open a file called whatever, undershirt overlay and panty overlay. Okay? And here's a backup. I'm also going to put some backups in here too. I've got the panty one done. I haven't copied the undershirt one over. It's just, it gives you something to work with. Now, Daz Studio does not directly edit layered image files. It'll handle layered imaging, layered textures, but it doesn't actually create and edit those files. And so I had to do it this way. All right, so we can open this up. It opens the file in my case, Photoshop, but whatever application on your machine that has the PSD extension associated to it is what it will open, okay? And then you do your editing in here. Now when you get to here, and I'm just going to show you Photoshop, if you use GIMP, as you know, GIMP will handle this perfectly fine. There are a couple of other programs that will handle Photoshop documents. If you're using those, then you know how they work. I won't go into those. But anyway, here's a layer down here, our UV layout, so you can place things, okay? And then we'll say, State Pajama Squad. We said Slumber Squad on the back, but I'm going to say Pajama Squad here, okay? So now that I've got that typed in, might want to, I'm going to change the color. Okay, so we'll just change it to, I don't know, let's make it a bright yellow. Okay, we got that. Okay, and we can fool with the, if we want to go to the effect, we want to go to stroke. We want to make that stroke a little bit smaller. You know how to use Photoshop if that's what you're using. You can play with that and just say okay. All right, now what you want to do, this is very important, hide that UV layer. Okay, you may not even need to bring it up, but if you did, make sure you remember to hide it. So now all you have to do is hold down Control, hit the letter I to refresh images, and boom, there you go. See that? And I think I must have that image hidden on the back or something, I'm not sure, but it doesn't really matter. The point is, well, it does matter. If you're looking at this, you want it to matter. So if it doesn't matter, then you're already moving on to something else. We have this, okay, and by the way, I'm going to put the link to these fonts. I chose to use for the demonstration purposes of this video a couple of fonts from 1001 freefonts.org. That's 1001 freefonts.com, not org, .com. And these are both free for personal use, but you can also get a license for them. And I'll put the links in the description below so that you can get there and get them if you like them. Okay, I've got a Greek society here, this is just a collegiate. Let's go ahead and show you what that is, by the way. That's College Block 2.0 regular. This one is, I've got 2 or 3 of the Greek fonts. Let's go to here, 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 and that's Greek Elegant LDR regular. I've also got a couple of other Greeks in here, Futura, or actually one other, or is it 2 others? I don't know. Anyway, you can see that's just what I did. You can use any font in your font library, and as far as your effects here, if it's Photoshop, you're already familiar, you know this stuff. And if it's a GIMP, you know that you know how that works. So I'm not going to go into that because this is not a tutorial on those programs. I'm just saying that these scripts will. Let's go ahead and turn on. Let's go to the pants, letters on, front, and don't stare. It could have just said back. But at any rate, you can edit that file just like this. It says front, don't stare, just like with the shirt. Hit your UV layout and put whatever you want and place it wherever you want. And then when you've got what you want, hide that, save the file, and then Control I to refresh images. And there won't be a change on this one because I didn't make any changes, but there you go. So you can do any number of things that you want with it. So that's colors and textures really all in one. There is something I want to mention. If you, for instance, and because we changed that to a metallic like a statue, we can go ahead and delete that. And now let's go ahead and go to, let's cover the fuzz a little bit in terms of colors, okay? Because it's supposed to be a kind of a fiber that arises from the yarn or whatever you have. You want it to match that color. Now it loads pink, but we can go to colors here and we can say, okay, let's go to our sleepover undershirt. Let's change it to lilac. Okay. And then I also have a color for the fuzz. So you want to scroll down, hit your undershirt fuzz, and hit that, and it changes the color to be translucent and matching the yarn. Okay. Same thing for the pants. It's got the same deal. So there you go. I think I actually managed to get everything covered. The slides? Yeah. There's nothing to them. You just load them and go. There's a foot pose for it. All it does is let me select the character. Now let's do that. All it does is it just brings the metatarsals up a touch. That's really all it does. Because as you know, in Genesis 8 and 8.1 both, they load slightly elevated, okay, which is worked out perfect for this. Very simple little slide slippers, a neutral gray material on the upper, so that, make pane undockable. That's fine, we'll just do it this way. See, when it's made dockable and undockable, it shouldn't be able to be mistakenly docked and undocked like I just did. Daz, that's a bug, not a feature. Sorry. Anyway, love Daz Studio, love it. Anyway, I think we've covered everything in here. D-Force presets we've talked about briefly. We can run them, but they're pretty explanatory, and the icons show you what you need to see about any given thing. Right? So there's no real need to go into and demonstrate. As with all COSM 3D products, I'm not going to say they're explosion proof, but I'm going to say I would be surprised if in the normal run of things you got an explosion. All right? You'd have to have an animation or something where an arm is passing right through a garment for a prolonged period of time for it to explode. I worked very hard on that because I want them all to, I want these to work frustration free. When I first started using D-Force, I I'm thinking back on it, I'm ashamed of what an ass I made of myself on the Daz Studio forums, the technical forums. But it did take me, because I liked the feature so much, I kept at it, and I realized it was me, not Daz. And since that time, about 4 years ago, D-Force has gotten better and better. Under the hood, it's gotten better and better. So, and I like that, and I take a lot of time going through lots and lots of different poses, different situations to make these D-Force presets as trouble-free as I know how to make them, so that you'll be able to confidently have a character load something, load a D-Force preset, and then just hit simulate and let that baby run, and it shouldn't give you any problems. If it does give you problems, get a hold of me on site mail. I'll be more than happy to learn about circumstances where I can improve the D-Force on these products. Okay, I think I've covered everything, as I've said about 14 times now. Icon backups will not be part. That's just a development for obvious reasons, folder that I keep in there while I'm developing. But basically, there it is. You have it. The Sorority Sleepover Set. Think of lots of fun render settings and scenarios that you can use this for. And until next time, this is Cosm of CosM3D.com. Joe also says hello. Thanks for watching.